So in one of the latest Twitch streams I had, we had a discussion about the best One Piece villains, and we went through a tier list, and one of the heated debates that happened in this Twitch stream was whether Katakuri was considered an S tier villain. Now I use the term villain very specifically here because the premise of this video is to let everybody know, and what I let my chat know in Twitch, Katakuri can never be the best villain in One Piece, and I'm going to explain why. Katakuri is an antagonist, and there is a difference between an antagonist and a villain, and I can give you a clear example, but let's start off with who Katakuri is. Katakuri, basically the main leader, the main offensive force of the Big Mom Pirates. His whole ideology, his whole role is protecting his family. That's all it's ever been. If you go back to Katakuri's backstory, you see his story with Brûlé, the people that he would attack, the people that he would beat up. These are people that are antagonistic children, people that are looking to get back at the Big Mom Pirates, who hurt Brûlé, who cut Brûlé's face. After that, Katakuri decided, bro, anyone that touches my family is finished. They're finished, like in the most brutal way possible. So if you want to take Katakuri's brutality and apply it to villainy, that's fine. We'll hold that discussion, but let's share the facts of Katakuri and what we got from him in Whole Cake Island. When we saw Katakuri, one of the first things we saw him do was stop some intruders from invading the Tea Party. Again, in this sense, Katakuri was stopping people from attacking his family. That's all within his ideology. That's his job. I wouldn't call that evil, or I wouldn't call that good or evil. I would call that Katakuri just doing what is within his right to do. He's not harming anyone innocent. These guys are antagonists, so he's not harming innocents. He destroys them, obviously. We see that, and obviously he's an antagonistic force to the Straw Hats, where the Straw Hats themselves are antagonists to Katakuri because Luffy, Sanji, Nami, Brook, Jinbei, Capone, they're trying to kill Big Mom, they're trying to ruin the wedding, they're trying to attack his siblings. Katakuri and everything Katakuri has done up to this point has all been for the sake of protecting his family. Noble cause. He's in the right. When he looks at Luffy, he views him as an antagonist. So when you review with an antagonist, you have to meet them with antagonism, or you can talk no jutsu them just like Naruto does. But thank God this isn't Naruto. So I want to establish this point here, because if you look at the people that we compare Katakuri to in the class of a villain, not to say that you can't put Katakuri in the villain category, I'm just saying that calling Katakuri the best villain in One Piece is just not correct. Now, if you wanted to say the best antagonist, that's a different story. But let's look at actual villains. Let's do a comparison and let's understand. But before we do that, let me clearly define what I mean by this. So with Katakuri, we clearly understand what an antagonist is. We have other examples of antagonists. Look at people like Aokiji in Water 7, Enies Lobby, Kuma in Thriller Bark, and kinda Sabaody a little bit, Kizaru and Sabaody, Frankie in Water 7, antagonists. Now, Frankie's kind of in the middle. He's warred with Akainu, where Akainu and Frankie, they border on villain and antagonist because Usopp didn't really do nothing wrong. Like, you stole his money, then you whooped his behind, and you left him out on the streets. Like, that's pretty villainous. Akainu, I mean, listen, that's a whole other debate. Akainu killed his own. I've dealt with this so many times with so many people, right? Because I understand treason, desertion, yes, that's punishable by death. I understand that. He killed Ace. He almost killed Luffy. He almost killed Whitebeard. He almost killed Jinbei. He's all within his right because, again, they're antagonistic forces. For me, him executing a soldier, it borders on villainy to me. That was crazy. That was a little crazy because, again, I guess he can act on it because he's an admiral, so technically he can perform capital punishment, but do it in a court of law, arrest him, put him in prison. Don't just kill the dude. Don't melt him in lava. The dude's talking about his wife and kids. Let's have some morality here. What's going on? That's a whole other story. I think once we get more of Akainu's backstory, I think we'll probably understand that moment a lot more than we do now. But back to the task at hand. Villains. Crocodile, Arlaw, Doflamingo. When we talk about villains, we're talking about antagonists that inflict pain and suffering on innocent individuals for the sake of their own ideals or for the sake of their own greed, whatever negative connotation you want to put on them. That is what a villain does. When you think about Frieza destroying planets casually for no reason, Cell destroying worlds just because he wants to find somebody to fight, You think of Johan from Monster. You think of even Griffith. So I won't spoil people from Berserk. Griffith was an antagonist who went into villainy and then went back into an antagonist. I'm not gonna talk about the villainy because it's sick, but you get what I'm going with this. Because when you look at Crocodile literally used an entire nation as a means to an end to get a treasure, and that's it. So he was willing to sacrifice everyone at that plaza with that atomic bomb that he put in the clock. He's literally willing to sacrifice thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. The dance powder. So many people went hungry, thirsty, famine, and he blamed Cobra for it all. He framed Cobra. All these people, innocent people, all harmed because of Crocodile's ideals and ambitions. Doflamingo. Now, Doflamingo has a good backstory. You understand where Doflamingo is coming from, but Doflamingo is evil, period. Doflamingo is evil. One could say, oh, he's justified in killing his brother. He killed his father, he killed his brother. He literally forced King Riku to kill his own citizens and blamed it on him. Very similar to Crocodile. If that is not textbook evil villainy, there's nothing else. Arlong, I mean, God, he killed Belmare, he killed all the humans. Again, he has reasons, he has a backstory, so we understand, but Arlong was a villain. He did horrible things to those humans in Nami's village. It was a terrible experience. We're talking about villains here. Evil people. Katakuri, his interaction with Luffy, you could see the nobility in him. Don't hurt my sister. Don't touch my sister. You dare look at my family. Now, one act of villainy you could mention is that when they saw Katakuri's face, the cooks that saw Katakuri's face while he's eating the donut store in the Merienda, and he killed him. All right. that was a little villainous. I'm like, all right, Katakuri, that's really aggressive. You didn't have to do that. So I'd say that's borderline, but that's not really his entire character. That's more of an outlier than the description of Katakuri himself. So I hope you guys see where I'm going with this, because it's not that Katakuri is a bad character. We're not saying he's a bad character. We're not even saying that he can't be a good villain, because I think he can be a good villain. He has villainy in him. But when we're talking about the best villain in One Piece, we're talking about world-class, gut-wrenching, emotionally painful to watch villainy. Blackbeard killing Whitebeard. Blackbeard defeating Ace. Blackbeard seeing Luffy. Luffy really Blackbeard is a villain. Point blank. Don Krieg, the poison gas. Being mad at Gin, like sacrificing his own soldiers, like trying to destroy the Baratier. Moria, I mean, God, taking people's shadows and letting them burn up in the sun. Like this is what we call villainy. Captain Kuro, villain. Katakuri, Aokiji, Kizaru, they're all in the same category. They have distinct reasons and they view the opposition as an antagonist. Like Luffy is an antagonist, and all the Straw Hats are an antagonist to Katakuri, to Aokiji, to Kizaru. Like, do you see where I'm going here? That's what's important. So I want us to understand this very clearly. To me, Crocodile, what he inflicted on Vivi, what he inflicted on Cobra, what he inflicted on the Straw Hats, what he inflicted, oh my God, Crocodile was evil beyond measure. Every step of the way, Vivi thought she had him. Crocodile was always a step ahead. Vivi was driven to a point that Rebecca was driven to this point as well, but when you see Vivi suffering and she's fighting with Luffy and Luffy punches her, and you see the pain and the gut-wrenching disdain for this one man that's laughing in her face as he walks away and all the Straw Hats are about to flood, and he's like, I'm gonna destroy your dad, I'm gonna destroy your country, I'm gonna take everything, I'm literally leaving your country depleted, thirsty, I'm killing your dad, I'm robbing it of everything, just for the sake of a poneglyph that may not even be here, may not even be real. There's no nobility in that. There's no nobility with Crocodile. There's no nobility with Doflamingo. There's no nobility. Arlong, there is a little bit of nobility, but if you want to know more about that, I did a video on Arlong with Braga. Like, we can talk about that. That's different. Those two in particular, to me, they are the only two that should be up for the best villain in One Piece. And I say villain in bolded. I don't know if my editor will put it up there, but I say villain in bold because yes, villainous, horrible people. That's what Rob Lucci, villainous human being. Now, it's funny because Rob Lucci is an interesting one. Rob Lucci has a lot of villainous behavior, but he all does it in the name of the government. So basically, anyone that comes against Rob Lucci is an antagonist. So you could put Rob Lucci in the same category as Katakuri, but then again, Rob Lucci just seemed more, he had more of a villainous nature. When you see Katakuri on the screen, you don't, not Katakuri, when you see Rob Lucci on the screen, you don't see, oh, he's an antagonist, oh, he's kind of noble, oh, he's just doing his job. There was a villainy about Rob Lucci. The hundreds of bodies that he left when, obviously, again, he was working for the government, but the hundreds of bodies he left as a prodigy, as a young prodigy in that flashback was jarring. The guy was executing people left, right, and center, willy-nilly. He just didn't care. Rob Lucci is more warped and brainwashed than I would say Katakuri is, because Katakuri decided his own path in his own right mind. He's not warped. He's just protecting his family. Rob Lucci said, anybody gets it. That's it. You not against the government. Whatever the celestial dragons tell me to do, you're dying. That's it. So that's up for debate. I think Rob Lucci's up for debate, but just from my gut feeling and how we feel, Rob Lucci definitely aligns more in that villainous category. And Nell's just a villain. God complex. I mean, and now you talk about villainy. And Nell was killing people left, right, and center. Just, bro, destroying islands casually. All right. Oh, you talking trash about me in your home? Zap, it's over. What did I just hear? You like LeBron over Kobe? Zap. Petty things for no reason, just destruction. That is a villain. That's how I see a villain. So if you have issues with it, you know, again, we can debate the decision and debate the definitions, but I think it's pretty clear to say that Katakuri can never be the best villain, only because he is an antagonist and he does not really engage in the true villainy that we see from the likes of Crocodile, Arlong, NL, and Lucci. Take care. Yo everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe here to get the latest from the channel, or also check out some other videos that might suit your specific tastes.